I was just telling Tina I'm really hurting badly because I was eating bad foods.
We are live. We are live.
Okay, we are live.
Go ahead and mute yourself, Miss Hattie. Hello, everybody. I am Chris Kissel, and I am here to bring you a mindful movement class. This happens every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And today I'm going to call this my morning flow, putting it all together. Previous episodes, we've pieced out how to keep your ankles happy, how to keep your hips happy, how to keep your back happy. What this class is about is learning specific moves that work for your body. So I give you all kinds of moves to get your body flowing, get your body moving. But more importantly, we're not just stretching the body. So if you find that you have to wake up every single day and stretch out a particular part of your body, it's not working for you. The stretches are literally not working. So what the reason is tightness is an indication of weakness. In this class, we investigate that weakness. We look for that weakness. We strengthen that weakness, and that tightness just goes away on its own. So until you can strengthen the weakness that is associated with that tightness is going to come back every day, and you're going to stretch it. But by stretching it, you're actually putting yourself at risk for injury. Yes, you are. You're putting yourself at risk for injury by stretching a chronic tightness, something that occurs every day, particularly something that might be just on one side of your body and not another. That tightness is there to keep you in a safety net, to keep your body from going into a range where you don't have any strength. So today we're going to teach you how to strengthen these ranges. All you'll need is a yoga block or just a throw pillow if you have one, and maybe a little towel, like a hand towel.
What body part are you working on today?
I am working on the whole body. This is the morning flow.
Okay.
I call this one putting it all together. So we're going to start in a seated position.
What you just said, behind my knee is very tight, and I thought stretching it would help, but you're saying don't stretch a muscle if it's tight?
Not, especially if it's behind one knee. That is your protective mechanism. So embrace it, say thank you, tightness. I'm going to work on finding what's weak so you don't have to hold my knee together. So that's the part of your body that's holding you together at this point. So let's be very mindful. Now, if you had a great workout, both your quads are, on fire from yesterday's squats, that's a different tightness, okay? That's a different soreness tightness. That's a good sore. That's a good tight that we like. But if you have one area in your body that's chronically tight, that you're chronically stretching, you need to talk to me. I actually do muscle activation techniques. That's what the whole premise of muscle activation techniques is based on. I've been doing this for 17 years, but let's start. Let's get started in a seated position. We're going to start at the shoulders and work down. So we'll take it up into the neck for these very first ones. What I want you to do is I want you to listen to my cues and be mindful. This is mindful movement. So you're going to sit up nice and tall. And I want you to think of the top of your head just going straight up to the ceiling. I don't want you to sit up tall by bringing your shoulders up here, and that's driving your spine up tall. I want you to bring your spine up tall through your spine, not through your shoulders, but we are going to shrug those shoulders. So let's start off by squeezing the shoulders up to the ears. And then we're going to push the shoulders down as far as we can. So when you squeeze up, I want you to think of your shoulder blades riding up your back. They're going for a ride up your back. And as you push down, I want you to think of those shoulder blades pointing down into your back pocket. We are literally, with this move, moving our shoulder blades. So if you have a stuck shoulder blade and you can't do this move either one way or the other, that is going to probably bring you some pain in your shoulder joint where your arm attaches to your body. Right now, we're working on the shoulder blades, moving them up our back body and down our back body. Good job. So keep in mind the shoulder blades are moving up and down. The rest of the shoulder, the arm are going along for the ride. So now we're going to sync all those rotator cuff muscles. And we're going to go with what I call our golfer's grip. And I don't know why I call it our golfer's grip. That's just what it is. So you're going to face your palms to me. You're going to take the ends of your fingers, these knuckles on the end, and fold them in. Don't make a fist. Let's just fold this in because I want to see your palms. All right. Show me your palms. All right. Your thumbs are pointing out and you've got a wide open space here. We're going to keep that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to extend our arms straight out to the side at shoulder height. Reach those arms as far apart as you can. All right. And now my thumbs are pointing forward. My palms are pointing down. So I'm going to circle forward. Circle, circle, circle. Now by keeping this golfer's grip, we're keeping the movement way up here in the shoulder girdle. We're not allowing tension down here. So go ahead and circle, 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 circle. Reach as you circle. This is syncing your 4 muscles that create your rotator cuff. Now, let's just change it up. You can bring your arms down, give yourself a little rest. And we're going to go back into that same palm. Thumbs out, arms out, flip the palms up, and we're going to circle back, 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 back. So you're always circling the direction of your thumbs, the way your thumbs are pointing. So now what we've done is we've taken this movement out of our shoulder blades and we've taken it right into our shoulder joint, all the way around the shoulder joint. This actually syncs those muscles of the rotator cuff and it creates a better movement. All right, drop it down. We're going to go down now to our hands and knees. So go to your hands and knees. We're going to create a tabletop. So your tabletop needs to be nice and sturdy, right? We don't want our table legs all wobbly. So to keep our tabletop sturdy, your hands are directly under your shoulder. Your knee is directly under your hip. Your palms are spread open wide. So we get some pressure into our fingers and palms, and it's not all in our wrist, all right? So from here, we're going to do a spinal flow, okay? So you've been laying in your bed all night and your spinal fluid gets stuck in different positions, and we're going to move that spinal fluid around by doing a cat-cow. We're going to add a bit of an extra twist to it. So what I want you to do is I want you to make sure your neck is always bending the same direction your low back is. So watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my chin to my chest, and as I do, I'm going to round my back here by pushing my navel up through my spine. So get in your rounded cat position. Round it, round it, round it, open up all those spaces between your vertebrae. Let those fluids flow through. And now I want you to just push, keep that roundness and push back to your heels. Push back to your heels. All the way back as far as you can go. Once you're there, drop your elbows to the ground. Let your belly hang and lift your chin. So now we've got a different curve in our spine and our low back. So now we're going to take our chest and we're going to slide it through our hands back up into cow. So we've got a really relaxed back right now. This is the only time you get to let your belly hang. Let's do that again. We're going to round up, but when you round up, you're making sure you're looking through your knees, you're looking at your feet, your chin is to your chest. Stay in that rounded position and really open things up by pushing back, pushing back, pushing back, dropping your elbows to the floor. Now you get to let your belly hang, your chin comes up, you slide your chest up through there. Get a little push-up motion there. Good job. All right, so now we're going to add a little twist to that. So you're going to take your left hand and you're going to place it right under your head. You're going to take your right hand and place it at the small of your back. Now I want you to go back into that child's pose position where we're back here on our heels. You're going to take your elbow, it's right between your knees, okay? We're in a tucked position here, and we're going to do a torso rotation. But because we're in this tucked position, it is not going to strain our low back. We're rotating from our thoracic spine. So what I want you to think of, be very mindful of, is to rotate your rib cage towards your opposite leg, opening up to that bent arm side, and get that rotation from the torso. Don't let the shoulder pull you. Make your torso move you and come back. Let's do that one more time on this side. So you've got your elbow blocked into your knee here, and you can use that as a fulcrum to kind of push against to get your rotation. So go ahead and rotate the rib cage. Think of the rib cage, the arm and shoulder are going along for the ride. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And bring it back. Now, we've got to be even. So let's do the other side. So you're going to come back up to your quadruped position. And it's really not quadruped, it's tripod. Go ahead and put your hand right under your shoulder. Other hand goes on the small of your back. Go ahead and bend your elbow down to the floor. It comes right between your knees. And rotate the rib cage in the other direction. You're always rotating towards the side where you have your bent arm on your back. And come back to center. Think of the rib cage moving you. The shoulders have nothing to do with this. We're wringing out our spine. We're wringing out the spine, and we're protecting our low back by being in this nice tucked position. And come on back. Good job, good job. All right, so we're going to stay in this tabletop position, but we're going to work the ankles a little bit. So your hands are going to be right under your shoulders again. We've got our nice strong table. And you're going to extend your right leg straight back behind you. Let me move up a little so you can see me. Extend that right leg back behind you. And we're going to start by working the ankles. We have talked about ankle mobility is so important. So what I want you to do is just rock back. We've got our toe tucked. We're rocking back and forth, flexing and extending that ankle. So if you have limited range of motion in your ankle, I'm going to venture to guess you might have low back pain, knee pain, or hip pain. You could even have hip, shoulder, or neck pain from a restriction in your ankle. So we want to keep those ankles moving appropriately. Okay, so we got that ankle moving. Now we're going to take a little hip extension. So we're going to get up into the hip a little bit. I want you to keep in your quadruped position. I want you to be strong there. So I want you to pull your navel into your spine. I want you to push your shoulders down so those shoulder blades are directing towards your back body again. Get a nice strong table here. And now I want you just to lift that leg up and down, up and down. This is a little hip extension. It's working your glute. And you're going up and down. Up and down. All right, so we're going to get a little cross body stretch here right now. So let's take that right leg, the straight leg, and lift it up, and then cross it behind your other leg and take it as far over to the other side as you can. Now I want you to look around over your shoulder and peek at that foot and feel that nice stretch along your side body. But we're going to make it dynamic. We're going to rock back and forth on that ankle. We're going to rock into that stretch, rock and rock and rock, and come down and take it back to your start position. Just come up off your hands for a second. If you need to rest your ankle or your, well, when you're in that position, your wrists actually act like your ankles and your hands act like your feet. But go ahead and Move them around, and then we're gonna go back into that position. And we're gonna do it on the other side. I'm gonna turn around so you can see me better. So get back into your nice, strong, sturdy table. Your navel is tucked up high into your spine. You're not holding your breath to do that, so practice that. And I want you to extend your left leg back. Extend it back. And from here, we're going to go into hip extension. This is hip extension, lifting up and down. I'm going to move up a little farther. Lift up and down. Up and down. Think about squeezing your glute. Your glute's right here. Think about squeezing that glute as you lift up and down. Up and down. Okay, from here, we're going to do the crossover. So what I want you to do is lift that left leg, cross it over the other one as far as you can. You're going to take a peek around to get even more of a stretch in that side body. Find that foot, and now rock back and forth on those toes again. Rock back and forth. Oh, that feels so good. This is one of my favorites. I don't know if you get kinks through your waist area or anything like that, but this is a dynamic way to move through that tightness. So I'm not a big fan of the word stretching. I just like to move through tightness. All right. So from here, we're going to go down on our backs. And this is where you're going to need your yoga block. My hair's getting crazy today. You're going to need your yoga block for between your knees. And if you have a little towel or a tiny pillow, you can use it to prop your head up a little, because we're going to be gazing into our knees. And I want a little curvature in your neck for this. You don't need it, but I like it sometimes, especially early in the morning. So go ahead and sit up here. Let's put our yoga block right between our knees. And we're going to roll down to the mat one vertebrae at a time, because I never want to miss the opportunity to engage my core. We got to use that core for everything. So go ahead here, and you're just going to slowly round down to the floor, and think of just letting your spine one vertebrae at a time hit the floor, hit the floor. Do it nice and slow for me. Nice and slow with control. Awesome job. Awesome job. All right. So from here, what we're going to do is get in position. This is going to engage our lower abdominals. Very important to support our low back. If you have low back issues, typically it's because of an instability in this area right here in the front. You could have vertebrae out, you could have disc bulges, you could have all kinds of stuff, but we've got muscles that attach to the front of our spine that protect it. So we're going to get deep into that. What I want you to do is take your palms, our very important palms. This time they're going to create some neural input for our body. We're going to take the palms and we're going to put them flat on the floor. Now, I don't want you to try to push your arms to the floor. I just want you to open your palms really wide. Put them on the floor like you're creating a little suction cup, and then just let your fingers relax into the floor. But your palms have a nice gentle contact with the floor. You can keep your elbows bent to any angle that suits you, so you can have your palms on the floor. We've got our yoga block between our knees, and the reason being is we want to keep our hips and our knees lined up. So this keeps them in a good position. So with your palms engaged into the floor, I want you to tilt your chin towards your chest. So you're gazing at the top of your knees. So you're tilting your chin to your chest, gazing at the top of your knees. And from here is where the magic happens. We're just going to do a tiny tilt of our pubic bone up towards our nose. And the way we're going to do that is just pull our navel into our spine and let our low back round into the floor. It's a subtle move. We're not lifting our hips up off the floor, but you've got a little tilt, like your pubic bone is a bucket and it's tilting and it's pouring water out. So hold that and then release it. So this one is so important to gauge your lower abdominals. If you've ever had any abdominal surgery of any kind, Your muscles down here have been jeopardized, and this is the way you rehab them. So let's do that again. Pay attention to every single cue, please. Take your palms, suction cup them into the floor. Relax your fingers. You're not pushing them through the floor. Now tilt your chin towards your chest. Gaze at the top of your knees. So we've got a rounded neck, and now we're going to round that lower back by pulling our navel into our spine and hold it, hold it, hold it. So this is giving you nice strength in your lumbar spine. If you find that you have a sway back, this is so important. Keep holding and release. So we hold it for a long 6 seconds. And we release it for a long 6 seconds. When we're dealing with neural input, we've got to give it that release. That release is as important as the move. Let's do that one more time, because this is probably the most important move of this whole class. So palms are into the floor. Fingertips are relaxed. Your chin is to your chest. Your gaze is to the top of your knees. You pull your navel into your spine and slightly tilt that pubic bone up, and you hold it for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, we're going to do an add-on to this to get a little crunch going. So we're going to go back into that tilted position, and once we're there, we're going to glide our rib cage towards our hips. So listen carefully. Go ahead. We've had our rest. Put your palms on the floor. Tilt your chin to your chest, your pubic bone up. Hold that really tight right here. Once you've got that, I want you to lift your shoulders slightly off the floor. You don't have to come up real high. Now your fingers are off the floor. What we're going to do is we're going to just reach our hands towards our heels. So reach. So we're not, at this point, we're up and we're not lifting up any higher. We're gliding the bottom of our rib cage towards our hips. We're feeling it right here, a squeeze. So you've got that tilt in your pubic bone. You know how to do that now. You're squeezing, you're squeezing, you're squeezing and squeezing, and lower it down. So if that gets too intense for your neck, just do a couple, lower it down. Come back up. So the position to come back up would be to tilt your pelvis, then lift your shoulders up, gazing at the top of your knees. You're just reaching at this point. You're not lifting up. You're gliding towards your feet, and take it down. Good job. Good job. So let's work the glutes a little bit. Let's keep the yoga block or the pillow between our knees, and just stamp your feet on the floor, get a new position there, get comfortable, wiggle your toes around. And from here, I want you to squeeze your glutes. So glutes are your butt cheeks. Squeeze them together like you got a quarter in there. You're not going to let it go. And keep that squeeze, and then lift the hips up. So we're not going to get a high arch in our back. We're going to keep a squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then I want you to keep that same squeeze as you lower it down. Lower it down, lower it down, lower it down. And now you get to release that squeeze. So we're going to do that again. I want you to think of your hip bones right here as trying to keep them level as you're lifting them up towards the ceiling. So you're going to give it a nice squeeze in the glutes, and you're going to lift as you squeeze. Think of these hip bones coming up nice and level to the ceiling. The harder you squeeze back here, the higher it's going to get. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, and take it down, and take it down. All right, we're going to switch gears. And so when you find a move, one of these moves that feels like your body really needs it, I want you to stick with it. I want you to do it 8 to 10 times. This class is to teach you on how to move. Also, when we're done, you'll probably feel like you had a massage. So let's go back up to a seated position. We're going to work the hips. Loosen up the hips. So we've done the shoulders, we've done the abdominals, we've done the glutes, we've done the ankles. Now it's time for the hips. So I want you to sit with your knees at the edge of your mat on the horizontal side. And I've got my left knee right here in front, and I've got my right foot going back behind me. So my left foot is parallel to the front of the mat. My knees are even, and you can slide back just a little because when we rise up, we're going to come off our mat. If you want to stay on your mat, probably doesn't matter. It's not like you're going to fall very far. So anyway, left knee's in front. That means my left hand is going to come around behind me, and it's going to be my kickstand. But what I want you to think about at this point is I want a big space right here between my shoulder and my ear. So I'm pushing my hand down, I'm lifting my neck up. And I want to keep that nice space as I rise up onto this kickstand. So keep that in mind. We don't want to end up like this. We want to be strong right through here. So you're pushing your hand down behind you. Excuse me. And let's push up to our knees. So we're up on our knees. We've got a nice little triangle going on here in the knees and the hips. And we're pushing up. But to get it up high and to feel that stretch in the right hip flexor, you're going to have to squeeze this glute. We need some action back here to loosen this up. Because this isn't going to know that we've got something taken over, okay? So I want you to squeeze your glute, and I want you to push your hip forward. But the stretch is not coming from you pushing your hips forward as much as you squeezing your glute. So get in that push forward position and then squeeze your glute. Now we can add some shoulder to this. We've got that big space here. Remember, we're not scrunched up here. I want you to reach your other arm up. So you've got this nice broad wingspan from fingertips to fingertips. And let's do a rainbow with our arm. So we're going to just take it over and back. And that's going to create a nice stretch through the side body again. We're opening up all these joints with strength. We're increasing the blood flow. And we're waking them up for the day so they can move like they need to. All right, so let's come back down to the seated position. Remember how we moved our torso and not our shoulders so much? We're going to do that same thing. So we're in the seated position. What I want you to think of now is I want you to turn your rib cage towards your left leg. So don't think of just taking the shoulder and making it get there. I want your shoulder kind of back, and I want you to turn your rib cage towards your left leg. Now, once you're where you can, as far as you can go, I want you to plant your hands on the floor and then walk them out. Walk them out. Now, drop your elbows to the floor. Drop your elbows to the floor. We're going to get some internal and external rotation going in that right hip. So let's start with internal rotation. And all we're going to do is take our right foot and lift it up off the floor and down, up and down. This should be translating all the way up to your hip joint. If you feel it in your knee, don't go as high. That means your hip's stuck. Just up and down, creating some motion in that hip joint. And we're strengthening it because we're using the internal rotating muscles. All right, so let's do some external rotation in that right hip. This time we're going to keep our foot on the floor, and you're going to lift your knee up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And your external rotators of your hip are right here on the back side. That's where you should feel that. Come on up. Let's switch sides. So go ahead and switch your legs. Now my right leg, my right knee is here with my right foot in front. My left foot is here with my left foot behind. I'm taking my right hand as my kickstand. Remember, we're keeping a nice big space between our ear and our shoulder, even as we rise up. Plant that hand in the floor. Keep it nice and tall through here. Push up onto your knees. And then let's give a nice squeeze on the back of this left hip to open up this hip flexor. Open it up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Reach your arm up into the air. You can look up at that hand. You've got a nice wide wingspan between your hands. Let's do a rainbow with our arm just over and back. over and back. Feel that once again through your side body. You're still squeezing your glute to push that hip flexor open. Nice job. Let's take it down. And let's do some rotation in the hip. So what I want you to do, once again, think of the rib cage twisting you. Rib cage is twisting you. Once you're where you can go, you put your hands on the floor in front of you. You walk your hands out and drop your elbows to the floor. Once you're in this position, let's open up the hip. Take your left foot and lift it off the floor and down. Up and down. Up and down. Nice job. It's not going to go very far. Up and down. So now we're going to go with external rotation, working the backside here. We're lifting, keeping the foot on the floor, lifting the knee up and down, up and down, up and down, and up and down. Great job. All right, you did it. We've worked through the whole body. We've added strength to our body so we don't wake up with that chronic tightness every day. Remember, tightness is just an indicator there is a weakness somewhere. And if you yank on that tightness, which is your protection at that point, you could be risking yourself for injury. So thanks for joining the class. I hope you feel like you've had a massage. Have a great day, everybody.